Alright guys, Jameson and Alex here. Today we're talking Quickdraw Rogue. This one is from Crystalpunk, so make sure you check that out. If you're new to the channel, what we're going to do is rate the roleplay, combat, and synergy based on the abilities gained in the subclass, how they improve on the base class abilities.
That's right.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to be entered in our D&D Beyond Sourcebook bundle giveaway.
Or other giveaway of choice, potentially.
That being said, let's get right to it.
Okay, starting off at level 3, we have Smooth Talker. You are adept at getting what you want through conversation. If you fail a persuasion or intimidation check, you can roll an additional d20 and use the result, potentially changing the outcome. You must use the new roll. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus and regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest.
Yes. Also at level 3, we have Opening Shot. Directly after you roll initiative, while not surprised, you can use your reaction to make a single weapon attack with advantage against a creature you can see. When you do, you also choose from one of the following additional effects for your opening shot. The first option is Deadeye. If the attack hits, it deals extra damage equal to a roll of half the number of sneak attack dice for your level, rounded down. Also, if it is a ranged attack, its range and the range of any other ranged attack you'd make as part of the reaction are doubled. So long range,
Yep.
Sniper action. Second option is roll. Before or after making the attack roll, you can move up to your movement speed without provoking opportunity attacks. Additionally, you gain temp HP equal to a roll of half the number of sneak attack dice for your level, which lasts for the next minute. So, positioning, movement.
Yep.
Alright. Third option is trip. If the attack hits, the target must make a strength saving throw DC 8 plus dex mod, plus your proficiency bonus, or you knock them prone and they can cause them to drop one object of your choice that they are holding. If you use your reaction to make an opening shot, you can't use your action on the first turn in combat. You can draw up to 2 one-handed weapons as part of the reaction, and if you can engage in 2-weapon fighting, you can make the additional attack as part of the reaction, but none of the above effects apply to the second attack, except for the Deadeye's range increase. So basically, all it is exactly what it sounds like, opening shot. Combat starts, you get an extra free bonus to start off combat.
Yep.
Either positioning, extra damage,
Knock somebody down.
Movement, impairment.
Next up at level 9 is Showdown. You can invoke a Sacred Duel. As an action, you can make an intimidation check contested by a creature's insight check. Creature must be within 30 feet of you, must be able to hear you, and share at least one language with you. If you succeed on the check, both you and the creature are bound by the duel for the next minute. While in the duel, both you and the target cannot attack or cast harmful spells on any other creature. During the duel, you can use your sneak attack against the target even if you don't have advantage on the attack roll, but not if you have disadvantage on it. Also, creatures not in the duel have disadvantage on attack rolls against both you and the target. The duel ends early if either you or the target is incapacitated or when you and the target are more than 120 feet apart. It also ends if a creature friendly to you damages the target or casts a harmful spell on it, or if you end it as a bonus action on your turn. You can take this action even on your first turn after using your opening shot when you could not normally take an action. So it allows you to not basically lose your whole first turn because you took that bonus extra turn. You can still at least do that to initiate the duel.
So exactly.
Making your opening shot even better.
Yes. Level 13, we have Cunning Outlaw. You can't be surprised while you are conscious. Additionally, you have advantage on insight checks to determine whether someone is lying to you. So you get that social awareness and spatial awareness, I guess. Sure. We're going to go with that. Spatial awareness. Sure. Level 17 Capstone is Vigilant Shot. You're even quicker on the draw. When you use your opening shot, you can choose 2 effects instead of 1. So you could...
Extra damage and movement.
Those are all the abilities, though, so let's move on into the rating portion of the video. First up is the roleplay asterisk, as always. Talking about roleplay, we're talking about interacting with the world around you, interacting with NPCs, non-combat scenarios, avoiding combat, basically things outside the initiative order. Not talking about your class fantasy, history, lore, background, that's on you as a player. We can't rate you, but we can rate the abilities gained in the subclass, now that might improve your potential in those roleplay scenarios.
Did you have your coffee today, bud?
Not enough.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So, all of that being said, with the roleplay, you get some nice bonuses here.
You do?
They are situational for most of them outside of the, bonus to intimidation persuasion, but that's, focused on social. The duel thing could be super situational. Maybe you just make someone focus on you essentially for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. the advantage on determining someone lying to you could definitely be another thing, but there's really not a ton. Well, there's really not any exploration side of roleplay.
No, it's all social stuff.
There's
Yeah,
social stuff, and the social stuff is pretty solid, but it's social, so there's a lot of criteria that need to be met.
Yep.
Like you have to share language for the one thing. They just be able to see somebody, or there's just certain things that kind of hinder it a little bit on there.
Yeah.
It's more geared towards like humanoid stuff, but it is what it is. It's kind of just how social usually goes. And there's also like a little bit of niche use again with like not being able to be surprised, which could come into play, but really most of the time that's not going to make a difference.
It's primarily
in
a combat-based thing.
Yeah, for the most part on there. So that being said, we just gave it a 3 in the roleplay. It's really solid in the social side of things, but not really much in the exploration, and there's a little bit of nicheness
There
as
is.
well.
The combat side of things is definitely more interesting. I like what this is trying to do. It makes me think of the Gloomstalker Ranger with the extra stuff right at the front. It really leans into kind of like Assassination Rogue does.
Yeah,
Your opening turn, that opening shot thing, lets you really get in and make a huge chunk of damage or make a very impactful maneuver to start combat, which is really cool. Definitely gives you a thing to play into that way. And the fact that you've got different choices, I really like that. Because, the extra damage is never going to be a bad option. But the fact that you do have an option to give you some maneuverability if, you start combat and all of a sudden, like, these 3 air elementals just, like, coalesce right around you. You're like, crap, I don't want to be here. So you have the ability to get away with your opening shot instead of having to use on your turn, use your uncanny dodge and get away, or disengage and run kind of thing. Mm-hmm. You're able to maneuver yourself as you need be. Or if you're wanting to be in melee already and you've got the trip, you can knock somebody in, have advantage on your attacks and really start, hauling down on something, especially if you're next to like your barbarian or your paladin, your fighter, and your monk or whoever else not to be in melee. You can make a very good friend very quickly with that. My favorite thing on here by far, though, is the showdown mechanic. Because you can do this, if you're very clever with this, you can find some great things with this. Because, even if there's an enemy caster, you could show down the caster so he can't cast harmful spells on anyone else.
Right.
But you.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you
have uncanny dodge. So.
And you're going to get an innovation at that point, too.
Yes.
So that's of course, evasion will be AoE, so he can
still...
but the point is like you
have some decent options against casters.
Yeah. And the number one thing I think of with this would help your party combat-wise is if it's a caster that happens to know, like, dominate persons and holds, and you're probably not going to be dumping wisdom, but sometimes your barbarian might be, or your fighter might be dumping wisdom, and if you want to see terror in your party's eyes, watch your friendly barbarian get dominate personed, and then you go like, oh, poo. Create some terror. So it's besides the obvious of like, you kind of, the flavor of that is really cool and everything else.
It's a soft CC.
It's kind of like a soft taunt. It's like, you right here, bud, you're dealing with me and me alone. And because rogues can do the damage, and it also helps you kind of be the swashbuckler rogue of you being able to get your sneak attack pretty basically automatic unless you've been given disadvantage by some other creature's abilities. Right. But if they have to hit you, you're also getting disadvantage attacks against you. So it's like, a lot of great things to help. I guess the limit to that is that's the extent of it. You get your opening mechanic that lets you really lean into that first bonus extra turn, and then you get this really cool mechanic of playing with the one thing all the way until 17 when your opening shot gets to do 2 of the 3 effects instead of just the 1. So there is like what Jameson said in one of our other recent videos of some classes like to spread into all things, some like to pigeonhole into one specific thing. This is, it's two pigeonholes. It's your first turn's going to be awesome, then you're going to be just a regular rogue the rest of the time. Then you can duel one thing. It's like, then you're just going to be a rogue the rest of the time. So there's a lot of interesting give and take with that, and if played well, could be really, really great. If not, not so much. So we went with a 3.5 out of a possible 5 because they're if you can play this smart, you can really make use of that the showdown mechanic. Right. But if there's not great opportunity for that, it may feel a little lackluster after that opening shot's done.
Yeah, and I think just kind of going to synergy, it does with the showdown, for example, it has to share a language with you, the target.
That's the other thing.
That's a big hindrance. So if you can't do that, then you just can't
down there in the Underdark dealing with all these aberrations and all this other crap.
Yeah,
you can't duel a
not
aboleth.
necessarily the best time there. So that does come into play, and then I think the other main thing with it is the opening shot. It's just one and done. It's like you get a great start, and then
you're just a basic rogue at this point.
So it's all right. And also the big thing that like assassin rogues and stuff can deal with having issues is depending on how combat starts, and if you are surprised because before you get your immunity to surprise, you just miss your opening turn essentially. For this, it comes into this play where it's like if you can't take a good first turn, if for whatever reason there's like you can see stuff but you can't hit it from where you're at, even with your movement you're not able to hit it.
Not in range of something.
You see something dash across, then you just don't really have a lot of subclass going on.
No,
But I think once you have the can't be surprised and all that stuff on there, you are gonna have much more consistency with it. And also, how often are you gonna run into circumstances where combat starts and you can't see something within range or get use one of these things and not get within range? It's probably not going to be all that often. So we just went with a 3.5. When it does work, it works really, really well, and it's awesome.
Yep. But there are going to be times where it feels like you're not doing anything besides
just
being a basic rogue. You don't have a subclass.
So it's like one of those things where when it works, it's awesome. When it doesn't work, feels
bad.
Really bad.
Feels bad. Okay.
So we just went with 3.5 just because it is really good when it does work. But that's going to be it for today, guys. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications so you know when all of our new videos are coming out. And as always, thanks for watching.